I always heard this rumor that Merlin, he was gonna play Tupac in the movie.
I don't know if it was offered to him, but I do know that there was serious talks about the development of a film with him playing Tupac for sure. Yeah. And it wasn't like a small movie, it was a real movie. Like it was a real production. That definitely was something that was being talked about. We talked about what direction we wanted our careers to go in a lot. That would be a conversation that we would have. What we were going to do after. Because we wanted to make a couple. Well, we didn't want to, but people had approached us both about making a movie, about high school football, two high school football players from one from the hood and one from like the Pacific Palisades.
When was the last time both of y'all spoke?
The last time I talked to him was the conversation we had about him being attached to potentially play Pac in the film. And then he passed, probably a couple months after that. Just like that might have been in like August. And then Terry called me and she was crying. And I knew just from the tone of her voice and the way how emotional she was, what had happened. So Terry told me.
Terry Vaughn?
Yeah. Terry's boss lady now. Shout out to Terry. She's crushing it. Everybody's crushing it. Everybody on that show is crushing it. It's amazing. Talented group of people.
Before the interview, you was telling me about how bad your life was affected when he got killed.
Yeah.
Can you, speak on that?
I mean, have you've lost best friends? I'm assuming. No. I just mean like when you lose someone that's close to you like that. And especially when you're artistic partners like that, when you're making money like that, when you're on a TV show like that, when you're working together like that, and you're creating this incredible dynamic and this incredible relationship, and then you see a young man snatched from his life like that. I mean, you start to see your own mortality. And then you also see like, I'm never going to work with that. I'm never going to work with that guy again. And now this is going to affect my relationship with all these amazing people. I've seen Sed one time. That's it. I've seen Steve one time since Merlin died. I mean, that's too bad. We should, because of that tragedy, probably affected the chances of all of us getting back together and any sort of, even if it's just going out for dinner once in a while or just talking or anything. It just sort of left a void, a vacancy in our family, in our show family. And that's what we really were. I mean, at the end of the day, we were a family. I've been watching the shows I got a kid that I've been working with, and he loves the show. And he's been watching it on the computer and I've been doing other stuff and I've been listening to it in the background and it's funny. It's a funny show. Stands up, So it's like every time every time I see him, every time I watch an episode of the show, that's all I can think of. So what was this amazing time in my life, when I reflect on it, that's really all I can think about.
So you feel like his murder affected your relationship with Steve?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think whenever anybody else on the show is going to see me, they're going to immediately think of him. So maybe like unconsciously or subconsciously, they don't want to see me. Maybe not, I don't know. But that's what you think about.
Nah, I get it. Because when you see you, that brings back a time period when Merlin was alive. So, that brings back, memories.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to Steve about his passing?
No, I haven't. I've seen Sed. I talked to Sed a little bit because I saw Sed. We talked a little bit about it. Sed's the best. I saw Steve because I saw him on his talk show, but we didn't have an opportunity to sit and talk. But I didn't get the sense that he really wanted to talk about that anyway. You know, that's what I mean when I say that. Like, he's happy to see me, but I know for a fact Steve probably sees me and just goes, "God damn, wish Merle was alive." Yeah, yeah.
R.I.P. Merlin, man. The show ended. How was that like for you? Was it difficult for you to get more work, or did everything go smooth?
Well, I mean, I didn't. I mean, in 2020 hindsight, I would have loved for the show to have gone on for 4 more years for monetary reasons. But I think for creative reasons, everybody wanted to get going and move on and do something else with their time. Everybody would say that. They wanted to do something else. I'm sure of it. And when I got off the show, I went straight on I did like multiple pilots. That's when I said about when I first got introduced to television, I thought that's how it worked. You know, you get a television job and then the show goes on for like, 2 or 3 years at least. I went on to do like 6 or 7 pilots and not one of them got picked up. So, I mean, I'm just like, I'm going through the grind, you know. And I was doing a bunch of films, but then I had some tragedy in my family. So I actually had to leave Los Angeles and I had to take a step back from the business to deal with some personal stuff inside my family. I had a pretty good run of it. I was doing good films and good television projects, and things were rolling pretty smooth for me until what happened to me was there was a big strike in 2008. There was there was the housing crisis and a writer's strike, and there was no work for a while. And then I had to leave town, like all at the same time that happened to me. So my career just took a different turn at that time, and I had to take a step back. After that, after I left the business and had to deal with my family and the personal things that we all had to deal with, then it wasn't that simple for me to just step back in acting. I thought it was going to be easy for me, but it was not. It was difficult. I had taken a long period of time off, and I had accumulated some personal problems, like that I had to address in order for me to get my my opportunities lined up again. I feel like that's what's happening to me now. I feel like I'm finally starting to see things more clearly for the first time in a long time. I mean, there's nothing I like to do more than to perform. And it's been too long for me not performing. Recently, I've done some small projects. I wrote and produced like an independent television project out of Los Angeles about some of the more unscrupulous characters in Hollywood and what they're getting away with. So it's kind of an interesting. You got to be careful with that subject matter. You dig too deep in Hollywood and you talk about the wrong stuff, you can attract the wrong attention. Sorry. I was crying a little bit earlier when we were talking about Merlin. Trying not to do that in this interview. Last interview, I did that, and trying not to do that.